You're watching National Streaming Sports, over 20 podcasts, 70 shows, and a 3.5-star rating on Roku TV.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Captain Jack Rackham channel. Captain Jack right now, as we speak, is still in Green Bay. He's working on getting on his own show. As you all know, I am your co-captain, Raider Transplant, a.k.a. Angelo, a.k.a. Reyes, boxing on Instagram for any of you guys who want to follow me. Tonight's super awesome show that we have put together for everybody is going to have some great panelists and some great special guests. If you read the description, you already know two of the guys, and we're bringing back another one who is an expert in all things Raider. And as the night progresses, again, it's only a 2-hour program here on the Roku channel and YouTube. If you guys want to check us out, please subscribe, please press the like buttons, and please continue to chat it up with us. It helps the channel. And of course, all of us here would like to hear your questions. So before I start bringing someone in, let me go ahead and pop off with good old Richie Riche. Congratulations to your Denver Broncos. Not bad, not bad. Good evening to you, sir. He's the host of the Wild Wild West show on the Captain Jack Rackham channel here, 4:30 Pacific times on Wednesdays. And then we got Sacktown Raider. All right, my boxing brother. Don't know if you got to see the boxing weekend, but we can talk about that after this amazing Raider draft that we did. A++ for me. Raider Allegiance in the house. Thank you. Bob. All right. Okay, well, you're going to find out from a whole bunch of the panels on exactly what is up. So this is the handle of one of our very expert Raider guests, 401 Raider Jeff. I keep calling him New England Raider Booster Club, which is what he actually is the president of. But his handle right there, guys, is 401 Raider Jeff. Make sure you follow him, like, and subscribe. All right. Yes, Sacktown, we are waiting for Captain Jack to come. He will be here at some point tonight. I see PNW's in the house. Thank you. Thank you. Pigs. All right, cool. Always like hearing from you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Capitan Rafucio's here too. Thanks. Thank you. All right. And let me go ahead and bring in the first guest who hosts his own show. And this guy is a beast. I got to tell you, you want to talk about a guy who has all kinds of endurance for Raider content, and he constantly no excuses with this guy. He could literally be in a hospital, this guy, in a bed, and he will still do his show. No excuses. He's great to have. He was an O-line himself, and now he gets to tell us all of what we need to do with our own line and everything else Raider. And that is Mr. 401 Raider Jeff himself. Jeff, there he is.
What is up, everybody? How we doing?
Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I finally got some sleep today after the last 3 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Man, it was a long few days.
Well, I got to tell you, I watched you and Chris do the recap the Saturday night recap, and then you showed the I didn't know you could even do that. You recorded it, and then you showed when I said, MF or whatever. Yeah. It was quite hilarious, and then you threw your hat, but we can get into that. And speaking of which, here is your co-host right now. He is at Chris4Raiders. The YouTube is on the description. Please follow him. Please subscribe. Please like. He's one of my favorite people, even though sometimes he'd be messing around with me. But I do love this guy. Chris4Raiders, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight.
I get to do another show with this guy? What the hell?
You're on mute. You're on mute. You got to unmute.
Even better. Somebody put the subtitles up.
He's still on mute for whatever reason. Chris4Raiders is trying to figure out how to unmute himself
rookie.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, you're still on mute, buddy. I don't know what's going on. You're clear on our side, but for whatever reason on your side, it's still on mute. Want to say something else? No, because you're still on mute. I think we're going to need him to fix it.
I've been done with him. I get the floor all night.
Fix it. All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to put him backstage, ladies and gentlemen, while he fixes the audio. Don't know what's going on with his mic. It's probably something as simple as settings, But us old school guys, we're not computer geniuses. So, and then we have.
Oh, that's great.
This man makes lists. This guy knows his Raider information, and he was texting. He was bothering me in the final round. He was like, "Angelo, we need to get Seth Hennigan." Well, I'm so sorry he went to the Jaguars on the UDFA. But we did pick up my UNLV quarterback, Haj Malik Williams, which I am so excited about. I'm going to get a chance to talk about that tonight. Here he is, T3 himself. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, guys. How you doing this evening?
What's up, bro?
Doing good. You can see his handle right there at Raider T-Bone. Tom, can you tell everybody the YouTube channel you want them to follow?
Yes, T3 Sports Guy. I've gone ahead and put it in the YouTube as well.
T3 Sports Guy. That is where he wants you to follow him. It's also on the YouTube. I'm going to get to the chat in a second. Please keep commenting. Truly appreciate all of you. We are going to now try Chris4Raiders one more time, and let's find out if the mute button, if we can actually hear that gorgeous, sultry voice of his.
Come here.
Chris,
Come here.
Can you?
Uh-oh.
I think he's messing around. See, I knew it. I knew he was messing around.
Come on.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. That's what I was saying. I want to show this guy and you. I'm honored. Hey, what's going on?
Is this the first time we have you on Captain Jack Show?
Yeah.
Wow, first time. Yeah. We're breaking them in, Jeff. We're breaking them in, Tom.
You guys literally just broke my cherry. So yeah, it's my first time.
All right.
So be gentle, okay?
Well, Chris, you are on the Roku channel and on the YouTube and all the things that Captain Jack posts out there also. But if you are listening to us on Roku, or if you want to join us on your comments. I will be able to see them if you jump onto YouTube, please. So we have this amazing panel, and really, guys, I want to hear from all of you tonight. Let me get to the chat for a second. We got some more people. All right, cool. Tyler, thank you for coming. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Dixon Sider. Dixon Sider.
Dixon.
Hey,
What's up, brother?
He's calling you his goat.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
Should have been in last night with us, man. It was off the wall.
Yeah, no. I watched it when I got up this morning. I was like, oh, let me check the show out, and then I thought it was funny that you replayed the moment, and yeah, it was interesting to see Jeff so angry. I didn't even recognize that he wasn't talking for like 5 minutes.
When we watched it last night on the show, what I didn't realize was how long I sat there silent, just staring at the camera. I think I spent about maybe 3-4 minutes of just sitting like this, just looking at the camera. You guys were all talking in the show that night, and I just was like, I think it was just the thought process of what I was going through at the moment. It took me a little bit, but
well, now we all feel great, and as T3 Sports Guy here says, what a great draft. I saw at least 7 media outlets, CBS, everyone was giving us A's, and I don't remember in the last 10 years whenever we got an A.
Bleacher Report gave us an A. That's like what Bleacher Report gave us an A. That's rare.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. CBS gave us an A. It was insane. It was insane. Raider Ryan, thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. But yeah, no, I mean, again, we all of us, I'm sure, are super excited about the draft. But let me go ahead and start with T3. You didn't really get to join us on our 7-hour extravaganza with Jeff and Chris on that channel. I was trying to invite him, Jeff, but this guy's working all the time. So, Tom, why don't you tell us overall what were all your feelings throughout the draft?
Well, now here's the thing, and people have asked me about this and about trading down or trading up and trying to add more picks. And I think it really comes down to what the general manager and the head coach want. Now, when you're coming off a 4-13 season, obviously there's not a lot of pieces that you want to keep around for the coming year. Now, again, the Raiders had a lot of injuries happen, but of course a lot of the other teams did as well. But it really comes down to the general manager and head coach. What do they want? Do they want a lot of new faces, or they want just a couple of pieces? And I contrast that with the Washington football team. They only had 5 picks in the draft, and I thought surely that they were going to trade out in round 1 to try to get some additional picks, but they didn't. And one of the reasons why they didn't is because they got a lot of young talent last year, and they felt like they only needed to add a couple of pieces. Now, again, with a lot of new faces in here, you're looking at a lot of guys that could possibly make the team. Jack Bache, they traded down to get him in the 2nd round. You're looking at a bigger version of Hunter Renfrow. Now, this guy's 6'1". He runs great routes. He's got good hands. Gets available and gets open in space, which is something that Hunter Renfrow was able to do. But you're giving him a bigger body. You're giving the quarterbacks a bigger target. So that necessarily was not a bad pick. If it had been me, I probably would not have traded back. I would have gone ahead and picked up Demetrius Knight, the linebacker out of South Carolina. Now, this happened 1 pick after Will Johnson already came off the board. So, again, you're looking at beefing up that offense. So they're certainly giving Geno Smith lots of weapons. As far as the rest of the picks go, you added a cornerback and 2 offensive tackles a little bit further down the draft. You picked in another wide receiver, a couple more defensive tackles. So all in all, I think you've addressed lots of different positions. I would have liked to have seen them really draft 2 quarterbacks, which they did. They picked up the kid from UNLV, and then they picked up Cam Miller out of North Dakota State. So they did get 2 quarterbacks, not necessarily the 2 that I would have liked, but all in all, I think they did a good job assessing the talent, bringing in different players, filling in different needs, and we'll just see which of these guys make the roster. Now, again, it's hard to say. You've added anywhere from the neighborhood of 15 to 20 new players here. Are all going to make the roster? No. Half of them could, but again, we'll just have to wait and see where the competition meets out and where everything goes. But overall, I was happy with where they went. I think everybody had Ashton Genty penciled in at number 6. So I don't think anybody really argues with that. But all in all, I think it was a good draft.
All right. Well, there's a lot there to unpack. So why don't we unpack that a little bit, Jeff? Let us know from Tom's comments and just your own thoughts. And Jeff's been on like so many hours, man. I don't even know if the guy sleeps, honestly. He's like a Raider vampire, this guy, you know.
I think my body's adjusted to like California time, because most of the guys I'm on with are mostly in California or on Pacific time. So I think that's what's happening to me, is because I'm on so late with these guys that my body's on Pacific time. So maybe if I fly to California, I won't have jet lag.
No, we don't want you out here. No.
Yeah.
We need
I think
more
my
Raider
wife's
vampires.
jealousy. I'm spending more time with Chris doing live shows than I do with her sometimes. So
Hey, so no, Jeff, but from what Tom said, what do you think? Where are you at overall? Just give us some.
I agree with him 100%. I mean, I think the whole draft was a hit. We addressed the major need that we have last season with the running back with Genty. It's not the move I wanted to make in the first round. Everybody pretty knows well where I wanted to go. I wanted to trade back at least to number 12, no further, gain an extra second round pick. Then I would have been fine with going an offensive lineman then. And then in the second round, grab a running back and then just fill out the rest of the draft the way they have planned. That was my thought process going into it. I just wanted that extra pick. They did it. They got the extra pick, or picks. They turned them into maybe not gold, but they definitely turned them into some serious value. We address needs. That's what we needed to do, and that's what we did. So.
No, I'm glad you're making all those statements too, Jeff, because when I get a chance to talk to everybody about like each individual thing, and me and Captain Jack were kind of going back and forth. He called me yesterday, and then I was just trying to explain to him the context of what the analysts from CBS to everyone else. And it's funny, Jeff, because the one that everyone across the board, it doesn't matter what channel it was, doesn't matter what TV, the one that they were most excited about, that they said, wow, the Raiders got a steal because this guy is a second round grade, was Charles Grant, the left tackle from William and Mary. They were like, oh my gosh, what a steal, right? And apparently, again, the reason why he did not join the combine is he had a minor injury, and rather than taking a risk, he was like, I'm going to get drafted wherever. I'm just going to let itself play itself out. But they were showing highlights of this guy wrestling. They were explaining his story, how when he went into college, he only weighed 240. They played him all 4 years at left tackle. He built himself up to 315. So this is one of those guys who you already know and have already seen in a 4-year college. And he was a true freshman when he started too.
Yeah.
Right? That he's going to be something. And then a lot of the analysts were actually throwing out these questions like, kind of puts a doubt on Colton Miller. Now, again, we'll talk about that a little later. I don't think that's what's happening, but I want to hear from Chris. Overall on the Captain Jack Show, your first time, 1 through the last pick, where are you at? How do you feel?
Well, starting for the first pick, I was like Jeff. I wanted them to trade down. Unfortunately, I kept my hat on. I didn't throw it across the room. I wanted them to trade down and get some more picks. That's what I wanted. The Raiders did satisfy the needs, and plus they got a running back and a BPA at the same time. So they killed 2 birds with 1 stone. As the draft progressed, I was still worried about, well, who's on a block? I mean, the offensive line last year wasn't stellar. And that's what I was worried about. My thing on the pick, where they got that kid, that receiver, because I kept telling everybody over and over again, we need a big receiver to get down that field and open it up. We don't have that. Then when they got that kid from, where'd he come from? What's the tall 6'5" guy?
Oh, Tennessee. That's Dante.
Dante Thornton.
When they got him, I was happy. I said, okay, now we're in business, because Rock Bowers, of course, is going to catch the ball. Can't really stop. Nobody seems to stop him. But you don't happen next year. They're going to blanket him because they saw what he can do. They're going to try to stop the best way they could. I don't think they can, but getting the big receiver going down the field is going to open it up for Brock even better, and Jacoby and who else are they put in there. But overall, if I would give it a grade, I want to give it an A, not down. It's like my boy T said, that you won't know until in a couple of years. But if we can get 3 starters out this draft on the starter of whatever position they play, then I say, okay, now it's almost an A. But if they get just one guy, because we know Gentry's going to start, but that's automatic. But if they can get 2 more, maybe 3 more out this draft a start, then I'll give it an A. But overall, I was happy. That's the first time I was happy after the draft.
No, and that's great. And just like Raider 123 here says, love it, great draft. Just 2 fixes he's iffy about, which again, we're going to break it down for you guys. That's what the show is about tonight. I'm going to give you a bunch of information. I'm going to give the panel some information to kind of talk about it back and forth. But I'm glad that Chris said the grading thing, because what's funny is I'm forgetting the year, but it was like right before they got to the Super Bowl, or 2 years before they got to the Super Bowl. But the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll, I sent it to Jeff. I'm like, hey, dude, did you know this? They got this grade F for drafting all the players that basically became starters and stars, and that helped them get to the Super Bowl. So, the analyst grading, that's true. We all got A's. Who knows what's really going to happen? The one thing I do know is part of the reason why I sent that post to Jeff is, well, that was Pete Carroll, man. The guy knows how to build a team. We know that from USC. We know that from Seattle and his Super Bowl winning ways. And even on the interview of the press conference with Brandon, who's the head of the scouts, and John Spytek, who was there, the way the both of them were talking, it felt like a unified. It felt like every floor of the Raiders facility, Pete Carroll hits with like an assignment for each person, and no one crosses over with each other. So I really like the cohesion. But you're right, Chris. It'll either be an A or what we will see. I want to put this out here. Pigs. Taylor Elgersma is there. What I would say about that, though, is Elgersma's build is more built for what the Saints are doing. And the reason why I believe our team took Haj Malik Williams, I watched him all year. I watched, and then when he became our quarterback for UNLV, I saw all of when he was there. He actually has more throwing yards than Cam Miller, who won the FCS national champion. His career was also a 5-year career. The only knock on him is he started a little late. I think the COVID year somehow hurt him. So he's 25 right now. But if you want someone to basically play like Geno Smith, that's the guy. And here's the thing about Haj Malik Williams. If you guys start looking at his tape, he runs fast. He was like Lamar Jackson for UNLV. So I would not be surprised if Haj Malik Williams takes both Carter Bradley's position and Cam Miller's position. Cam Miller might end up being the practice squad quarterback, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I did want to take the time, gentlemen, to shout out my man, the Ultimate Raider Fan 32. Everybody here knows who he is. Terrence Crump, Turf. I want to take a little time again. He's been a guest of the Captain Jack Show several times. We had him here the very first time too. And if you guys ever want to go back to that episode last year, the first time Terrence Crump came to the Captain Jack episode, he didn't really realize that good old Raider Transplant does a ton of research. And I, without him ever even telling me, I found the tapes. I watched his film. This guy is a legend for Montana State. He is one of the very best running backs they ever had. This guy was amazing in college, right? He doesn't like to brag about any of this. So part of the reason why I always push people to go watch his show on Tuesday nights on the Ultimate Raider Fan 32 and on Thursday nights on the Ultimate Raider Fan 32 is when he does the breakdowns. You have to understand that it's coming from someone who played at the highest collegiate level. And they even had a nickname for when they were going to do a touchdown. It was an actual thing that would happen in college, and all of his teammates know about it. When they would say it's the crump dump time, that was the play where basically it's going to go to turf in the end zone when the running back goes straight through. It's not like a flat, but he goes straight through there and catches it. And he actually did that to win a game against their rivals. It was amazing to see. If you guys ever get a chance to see Terrence Crump from Montana State, and I wish he would be with us tonight. He's not. If you go back to the show, he does talk about Tommy Mellett and why Tommy Mellett from Montana State got taken. And here's another fun fact for you guys about Terrence Crump. And I promise I'll stop after this. His daughter is this amazing gymnast who's like a true freshman right now for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And Terrence Crump has become the official voice of the Golden Gophers. If you watch, they did a 24/7 kind of like what they do with Hard Knocks, and the voice was Terrence Crump. Man, it was pretty awesome to hear Terp's voice narrate the whole thing. So please check out the Ultimate Raider Fan 32 YouTube, subscribe to him, listen to him.
Great guy.
He's the one who got me doing YouTube. He convinced me to do it, so he's awesome.
Yeah, he's so awesome. So thanks for the membership, Turf. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Turf. All right, so let's break it down, guys. Right, I think that it's better if we go backwards, right? Because if we go forward to back, a lot of the questions that everybody's asking is, well, why is it that we took back-to-back quarterbacks in that last two picks in the 6th round when there were running back needs that we all want to address, right? There are running back needs. There are linebacker needs, right? So why? So let me go ahead and spin it back around. Tom, in your opinion, and we're just talking about those two quarterbacks in the 6th. We'll get into Cody Bellinger from Minnesota. Cody. Oh, I don't know why I said Bellinger. Sorry, guys. Cody Lindenberg. The way I remember our linebackers now is we have the Berg brothers. We have Tommy Eichenberg and we have Cody Lindenberg. The two Berg brothers are now, I believe they're going to end up being a part of the 53-man roster. But before we talk about that 7th pick, that last pick, that number 6 pick, Cam Miller, and then right before that, the number 5 pick, Montana State's, or the one right before in the 6th round, Montana State quarterback Tommy Mellett, and both of them played each other on the national championship game of the FCS. So, Tom, what's your thoughts on why we did that?
It's my understanding that Mellett is going to play more of a wide receiver position with the Raiders than quarterback. Now, he might get some touches, but again, I'm looking at that as more of a conversion. So, but I think when we looked at it initially and saw that we had quarterbacks drafted back to back, that scratched a lot of heads. But again, I think Mellett is going to be more converted into a slot. Again, I'm not sure if he makes the team, but you could certainly see a lot of action during the preseason. He's definitely going to see a lot of action in camp, and he could be a practice squad guy, possibly. It's a long shot certainly to make the team, but there again, I think is your competition as far as the slot. I think there's going to be a lot of competition at the slot position this year, which is good, and I think that's what Carroll has done intentionally, is to bring in a lot of bodies to bring in that competition. We certainly needed another linebacker. Cody Lindenberg, I mentioned earlier. I was not a fan of trading down in the 2nd round to get Jack Besh. I was hoping that we would have picked up Demetrius Knight, the linebacker out of South Carolina, at pick 48, who could have probably broken in as a starter for the unit. But Lindenberg at linebacker, Miller and Mellett. Again, you got Miller at quarterback. He's gonna fight for either a backup spot or possibly a practice squad. JJ Pegg, certainly defensive tackle.
Tom, not yet. We're just only talking about. How about, man? I don't want you to go through all of it. We only want to really focus on those two picks.
But really, just
why two quarterbacks, Tom? Why two quarterbacks? Well, and you said
again, yeah, I think you're looking at more of a receiver quarterback threat with Mellett than you are just a straight quarterback. So I think that's why the back-to-back picks there.
Okay, Chris, why the two quarterbacks, man, on that final pick? I know you weren't that excited about it when we were on the show, but why the two quarterbacks?
They'd either draft a quarterback, like we keep saying, draft a quarterback every year. I said why, because I looked at why is two quarterbacks, but like you mentioned, they probably don't convert him to a wide receiver, which it is Captain Jack.
Yeah, no, go ahead and finish up, Chris. I'll introduce Captain Jack.
I don't know why. They drafted a quarterback who was FCS champion. That's awesome. No, it's Mellet.
Yeah, Tommy Mellett.
Yeah, Mellett. Actually, that stunned me. I didn't know what to think about it. Like, what are they doing? But we still need, like you said, we need a linebacker. I hope they draft another running back just to have just to back up Marcel and Gentry. But I'm still puzzled about it. If somebody can answer the question for me, I appreciate it because I'm still baffled about it. Why draft two quarterbacks? I really can't tell you.
I'm not laughing at you, Chris. I'm just laughing. I looked up I saw Jack there.
Hold on, Jeff. Hold on. Hold on. We will get into that.
Go ahead, because that question I'm still kind of like baffled. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, but before we get to Jeff, I need to introduce the actual the godfather of the Raider Nation, the man who knows more Raider history than all of us. He blessed us today.
P3 does.
P3 knows more? That's shocking. I'm shocked. I'm gonna need to see like a one-on-one trivia where I'm the one asking questions, and then one of you have to buzz in and see.
I might know more, but I'm not going to profess to know more than Tom Jones P3. Okay, this way I'm covered. Okay, but I would say that my Raider knowledge is right up there amongst the top.
Well, we now have Captain Jack Rackham all the way in Green Bay, joining us tonight. We're so very honored, sir. Thank you for taking the time to do that on your own show, of course. But I was going to ask you, since you know so much, Hunter Renfrow just agreed to terms with the Carolina Panthers. That is breaking news. So, what's your thoughts on that, Cap? Like, how did that happen? I know you have some ties to Renfrow.
And I'm happy for Hunter, and I think I said this before, that Hunter was not going to play for anybody but us or the Carolina Panthers because that's home for him. I think that and again, I'm very happy that he has decided to come back and he has devoted himself to getting better. Because again, when he got walloped a couple of years ago and had the injuries and the concussion and things like that, plus he was playing in a shitty offense. When you're playing for, and this is just for my boy Jack Kenna, when you're playing in McShitnuts offense, because I told him he couldn't use that term for McDaniel. That's what brought on a lot of the hate and the it was the shitty offenses and whatnot. He got shellacked, and so I'm very happy that he has turned it around and is in a place where he needs to be. And again, he will be well used in Carolina, and just like Andy Diaz says, is given another chance to prove what type of receiver he is. And the other thing is that it's not that the Raiders didn't want him, is that maybe Chip Kelly has his visions on what he's earmarking for this offense. Remember, we got a guy, and I'm if you haven't already stated it, Angela, I'm sure you said we got a guy that might project to be our newest version of a Fred Biletnikoff, sticky fingers, grabs everything that he can, much like Jacoby Myers does, because he doesn't drop a lot of balls easier, but he's big and he's tough and he gets up for the ball.
And I'll tell you, Cap, I'm glad you brought that up, because what we're doing to start the show is we're going backwards. So we started with the 6th round picks first. Right now, we're talking about the two quarterbacks, and I'm about to get Jeff's take. But guys, before we go, I want to acknowledge the chat. I do want to say that it's from Captain Jack's own mouth the man who knows more Raider history than any of us, and he's calling Jack Besh the next Fred Biletnikoff, possibly. That's high praise from Captain Jack himself. But if you do watch the highlight tapes, looks pretty darn close. So, with that said, Captain Jack, want to let you know that where's the flag?
I will say that there was some highlight tape that was given to me by a very, very smart person on this panel. Can't say who, but he is a Filipino. So I can't take full credit for that. But yeah, when you look at the tape,
you're
you know,
welcome for the film.
that's the guy. But this is the guy. There's two people, and I think we mentioned this, that I actually knew about quite well. Actually, three if you talk about Cam Miller. But when you go to DeAndre Thornton, the speedster out of Tennessee, and what he brings to the game, he's the guy to stretch.
Kev, let I want you to save it because we are going to talk about Cam Miller after we get Jeff's takes. So I promise I'm going to let you talk about Thornton when we get to Thornton. We're not at Thornton yet.
I'm eating dinner. I looked at my watch and said, "Look, see, gentlemen, I got these are."
Oh no, he cut off. So I want to acknowledge
he just hit the end button.
I want to acknowledge the chat real quick, Jeff. Then I want to get your takes on the two quarterbacks. Where's the flag? Says, "Hey, sweet, I'm barely late." So that's, I don't know who that is, but Captain Jack, someone's calling you sweet. Aunt Six, it was nice to join you on Jeff's show the other night. Thanks for joining us again tonight. Awesome. We got Chewy Smoke'em 559. Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
That's just...
Let's see. Turf, what's he saying? What to do? Yep. Yes, sir. Let's see.
Did I leave?
Yes, you did, Cap.
Okay.
And the cat was insulted, Cap. I'm just kidding.
Here's the thing: is I've been pushing buttons accidentally because I don't normally. Okay. Hopefully.
Hello.
Okay. This is Steampunk's sister Betsy.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi.
And this is Betsy's wonderful boyfriend, Jesse. How's it going?
Hey, Jesse. Both of you are on the Roku channel right now, on the Captain Jack Rackham channel on Roku and on YouTube, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time.
But I wanted to, and again, we are eating a wonderful thank you dinner that I wanted to take them out to because of their wonderful what do you call it? This being one when you host, there you go, wonderful hosts and all the things that they've done for all of us. So my thanks was taken again. I was the asshole that stayed an extra day because everybody else was out of here. So I bummed around. So I apologize if we're not going shotgun on the pick. So I apologize, Angelo. Again, but I needed to make an appearance because I told you I would. But we've had the what is it? The appetizers come out, and I just wanted to do quick thoughts. Obviously, I'll let all you guys do the rest. And again, I thank everybody for being here, doing the show for all of us here. I will just, my quick thoughts, as I stated, is that they got a guy with Fred Biletnikoff type intangibles with Jack Besh, I believe is his name. Then you got a speedster that is big and strong and fast and can catch, and DeAndre Thornton, who I know very well. And so I'm very happy with that pick. And getting back to some of the things I said the other night, I'll own it. I was not happy with the Genty pick in the first round because I saw all of those big offensive linemen that we needed there, and they're few and far between. But I did caveat that and said, as long as the Raiders address the offensive line here and in free agency, then it'll be a home run pick. And they did that with and I'm not going to go through, the guys, because they got a big guy for guard and they got a big guy for tackle. And I think I was very excited when they actually did the pick because I was on that screen with Steampunk and Levi, aka Baron Raider. I'm very happy with the draft. And again, I think that this is going to be the crossroads of the laying the foundation. And for all those people that have just said that Spytek was just Brady's friend and that's why I got the job, you can see that they actually he knows how to build a team based upon what Light did in Tampa. So he's not just a flunky that Brady said, "Hey, come on in," and said what was going on. So again, I'll let you guys go back to that because I need to. We got the main entree coming out, but if there's any quick questions, I wanted to make an appearance because I told Angelo I would. It's not like I'm, hey, fuck it, you guys do the show, and I'm not even going to show up. So I would never do something like that. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff has a question.
I got a question,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Order for food. I'm dying. What's the entree?
Oh, well, for appetizers, we had Wagyu meatballs and some Bam Bam shrimp and some what do you call it? Truffle fries.
Ooh.
And Betsy also had like a chicken. It was a chicken chili bisque. Yeah, chicken chili. Yeah. Oh, and you know, I don't drink very often, but I am drinking a Wisconsin beer called
you
Blue
earned
Bobber.
it after this weekend. You were a trooper out there, being on your feet
this
all
was
that
for
time.
us.
Hell yeah.
Blue Bobber, it's a very nice tasting beer, which actually with the citrus or actually has blueberries in it. So it's Blue Bobber. That's what we had for that. I am going to have walleye, like a crusted walleye, which again you can't get. Well, you can get it at but I'm getting the Wisconsin version of a great
Yeah,
fish.
you're getting it fresh up that end.
Yeah, and so I'm doing that while I'm here, and then and they're sharing some wild boar. I know that girl, by the way. So here, that is what we did. So that's the entree, Jeff, and it's great. And again, I'm sorry, guys, I can't stay on long, but I don't want to be rude to the folks here as well. But I wanted to be there.
Hey, Cap, Anna Diaz says hello.
I just wanted to say thank you, Cap, yesterday for coming on the show yesterday with us and spending some time with us. I appreciate that.
Hey, like I said, if I could have figured out how to push it to this channel, I would have. Because I know that Jimmy Farrell was like saying, "Why didn't you have a after draft show?" And I'm like, "Oh, by the way, here, look at this. That is the walleye."
Jesus,
okay, look
huge.
at that. Isn't that awesome?
Look at that.
So I hope you saw it. But yeah, we're having some really good things. But yeah, they didn't roll up the. Up there's the wild boar. I told you I know that girl. So excellent stuff here at what was the name of this place? Portello's, Portello's. That's a mancha. Great place. And by the way, before I leave here, we're going to go out and they're going to show me sturgeon spawning. And I saw videos, and I'm like, that's stuff you would never normally see. So I'm gonna see that before I get on a flight tomorrow. Hopefully, I can get on a flight because got some bad weather coming in. I want to get my ass out of here on my way to back to Florida.
Yeah.
Hey, Cap, before you go, I just wanted to let you know again. Anna Diaz says hello. Always praying for you, Anna. Hope everything's going okay. And then
definitely for Anna.
Afkasi, thanks for the super chat. That's pretty awesome. Thanks
brother.
To AR, always supporting. But yeah, Cap. And any final questions for Captain before he goes? Chris, Twan, Jeff, anyone?
Yeah, same piece of that walleye, man, and ship it to me. I'll give you my address in the Roku. I love fish. Just send me a piece of that.
No, and I'm normally not a big fish eater, but I do like the stuff that is white and meaty. So you know, like a big cod, big flounder, and walleye is a staple up here. So I wanted to make sure that I had the good stuff. So again, thanks to everybody here. Thank you for indulging me with a couple minutes. I'll let you back to the guys who are running the show tonight. And again,
safe travels.
Thank you as well. And again, this is not my channel. It is in my name. And I will say this is not my channel. I'm definitely of the Jess Spicoli version of a gathering. If I'm here and you're here, doesn't it make it our time, Mr. Hand? And that's why I said this is our time as Raider Nation and fans of football that we gather here and exchange wonderfulness and thoughts. And I just wanted to make sure people remembered that.
Captain, talk a little football, eating a little walleye.
Yeah, little football, little walleye.
Hey,
Well,
Captain.
little football, big walleye. That thing's huge.
Yeah.
Twan's got a question, Cap. Twan's got a question.
Okay,
Hey,
who
Cap.
got a question?
Hey, Captain. I know that we were drafting a lot of talent these past couple of days. Did you actually see some talent in other areas in Wisconsin?
Yeah,
Oh,
did you
I know
see the
what you're
pictures of the
saying. The only talent that I saw in Wisconsin was the pictures of the young ladies that you saw me with. That was the only talent. I knew where that was going, Twan. It is Twan, right? It sounded like
Yeah,
Twan.
it's
Yeah,
Twan.
it's Twan.
Yeah.
Now, we saw the pictures of Captain Jack getting kissed on by all the ladies from all the different teams. I would call it sacrilege that you let two Chiefs women kiss you, but then I saw the picture and was like, all
Yeah.
right, I can understand why.
It's not sacrilege. And by the way, they're all the ladies that you saw me taking pictures with are wonderful. They're beautiful ladies inside and out.
I know it's after the draft, so they could be considered UDFAs at this point.
There you go. Yeah, they're definitely free agents for everybody
The ladies
this
were
year.
flocking to him like seagulls do it at the beach for French fries. So,
But if there's any other talent around, the only good-looking lady that I am very close to right now is Betsy, and she's accounted for.
Well, again, thanks, Cap, for joining us, and thank you so much for all your knowledge all the time. Captain Jack will be back in his home for the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Tuesday. Are you doing a Tuesday show, Cap, or are you going right back to Thursday?
If I have some things to talk about, maybe I'll do something on Tuesday. And everybody here is welcome. If I do have a Tuesday show, because I wanted to be in studio to do it, everybody's here is welcome to come back. I'll let you guys know. But if not, then I'll see everybody on Thursday.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Cap. Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
travel.
Have a good trip back.
Safe
Thanks
travel,
again.
Cap.
Appreciate it. Hey, Angelo, like I said, kick me out. I'm not going to push the wrong button here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bye, Cap.
yeah.
All right, there he is, the great Captain Jack. And as he was saying his goodbyes, we're welcomed with the presence of the great, the am I saying it right? Is it the Reverend Raider Twan, or is it the Bishop Raider Twan? What is it?
I just consider myself to be the chaplain of the nation. I'll just say it like that.
The chaplain of the Raider Nation right here, Raider Twan. Twan. Check out his YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please like everybody's channels. And Twan, what we're doing is we're going backwards, right? So we're starting with just talking about why did we take the two quarterbacks. I'm about to go to Jeff. Jeff is going to tell us why he believes we took Tommy Mellott, who, as Jason Downs here says, Turf has to be stoked about touchdown Tommy. I'm sure he is super stoked about him. Touchdown Tommy and Cam Miller. Jeff, what's your thoughts on the back-to-back QBs?
Well, I mean, technically, they drafted a quarterback and a wide receiver is what it comes down to. So, obviously, Miller's going to be the quarterback, and Tommy's going to be the wide receiver option out of this. I mean, that kid Mellott, that kid's fast, man. I don't know if you saw his times. Do you have the profile on his times? Because they're pretty quick, from what I understand.
Yeah, you're talking about touchdown Tommy, right? Yeah. Brandon talked about his measurables were insane. 4.41. His vertical was like a 40 or some crazy thing like that. It was this guy is like a pure athlete. And on the press conference, Jeff, and I'll let you keep going. But on the press conference, Brandon mentioned that the reason why they took him is they don't even want to pigeonhole him into a position because he can do so many different things that at the very least, he'll be in special teams. So I think he's going to make the final 53. And I actually was joking with Turf because I said, we're going to kick out Dylan Lobby to go keep Tommy Mellott, but that might happen. So go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
Like I said, he's going to be that hybrid position. You know, he's going to be a quarterback / wide receiver, but we did draft him. That's what he was slated as, was a wide receiver in the draft. It wasn't a quarterback. But everybody's still calling him a quarterback. Why did we draft two quarterbacks? We technically really didn't draft two quarterbacks. Yes, he played that in college, but he's more known for his receiving skills and just his overall athleticism and his speed. His 40 time was 4.39, which is insane. I mean, and he's not huge. He's like Hunter Renfrow, but faster. I think a little bit more wiry, like a little bit more squiggly than Renfrow was. The other thing with him too is I just had the thought in my head too. I lost my train of thought for a second. Damn it. I forgot what I wanted to say about him. I had it right there too, because I've been thinking about it the whole time Cap's been talking. Don't forget this. Don't forget this.
You're talking about his punt return abilities or his
Nope.
special teams abilities?
Because now with him coming to the Raiders, he's got the ultimate guy on our team already that can help him further that transition in the pros from playing primarily quarterback to the wide receiver with Jacoby Myers, because Jacoby Myers played quarterback in college, and he was converted to a wide receiver when he came to the pros. So he's got him to help him mentor and help him understand that change and guide him in the right way. As far as Miller, Miller's not a bad quarterback. He's 41 wins in his time at North Dakota. He's a good quarterback. Is he potentially a starter? No, probably not. But again, it's always good to draft. I said this the other day, and I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. It's always good to draft a quarterback, no matter whether you need him or not. It just instills competition in the quarterback room, and it keeps your other quarterbacks that are already on the roster achieving that higher level every time. Because if somebody comes in and you draft him, like say this kid, say he just shines in the preseason and training camp and everything, you're forcing your other quarterbacks to step their game up too, because they got to stay ahead of this guy, which is what we didn't do with Derek Carr. We didn't do Derek Carr any favors those years he was here. We never brought in depth behind him and put him to the challenge every season. So he knew what he did was the best he could do because he had nobody pushing him. So did he really have to excel? No, he just had to keep doing what he was doing. He had his job locked up because he could easily beat anybody that we did bring in because they were mostly bums anyway. So that freaking hurts too. So what they're doing, I see what they're doing, and I agree with it. I like the moves we're making. We're bringing in mentally strong kids, physically strong players. There's really nobody that's got any type of major medical issue or health issue out of this group, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, we're not taking any chances on some of these guys. So I mean, they're drafting with the need that these guys are pretty much mostly going to make the roster, if you ask me. So I don't have a problem with the two quarterbacks that we're taking. I know Turf's ecstatic. I was watching him last night on the Raider Syndicate, and he was beside himself. He was so. As soon as I saw us grab that kid, and I knew where he was coming from, I'm like, Turf's got to be ecstatic right now, and he was. He was psyched. I mean, his alma mater. You got a player.
Jeff, any overall feelings about Cam Miller as the guy who might be taking over for Carter Bradley or anything like that, or not much?
Oh, I think he's probably going to beat out Carter Bradley. I had that feeling.
Yeah.
I think Bradley's time here might be done. Because think about it. I mean, if you want to look at it on pure numbers alone and keep that all of them listed as quarterbacks, that means we've also got 5 quarterbacks in our locker room right now. So convert one to a wide receiver down to 4. I don't think you're gonna. No, I think Brad. I think he's gone. I think he's gonna be gone.
All right. Yeah. Well, just like Pigs 76 here says, it's about creating a dynamic in-camp competitors with proven record for winning. That is a great comment. So, Twan, your thoughts on the back-to-back QB / wide receiver QB pick in that 6th round?
I think they were drafted. I think they were drafted where they need to be drafted. I don't know. I'm gonna slightly disagree with Jeff on a little bit on it because I believe that I don't believe that all these guys are going to end up making the roster. I think what's going to end up happening, but it is still a positive in its essence. It's going to create competition. And when you're talking about in regards to the quarterback position, I saw Cam Miller. He did look good on the highlight tapes that I did see from him. But we already know and that the number 1 spot is already locked. There is almost no way that any of these quarterbacks even if they had their best day, that they were going to supplant Geno Smith. So we already know who our number one is. Now, I think the main reason why they also did bring in this quarterback is because you have to make competition for someone like an Aiden O'Connell and a competition for Carter Bradley to get the best three quarterbacks out of that group. I think in regards to how Pete Carroll wants to roster wise, I think he's going to carry three quarterbacks. So it's going to be, a competition on who's the one that's holding the clipboard and who's going to be the emergency quarterback. And I think that's why they brought in this guy to push that. I know that there's also a UDFA that they brought in quarterback wise to even thicken the quarterback room. So there's going to be a big battle that we're going to see, especially during preseason, which is going to be exciting to watch. The other guy, I think we've all been Raider fans long enough to kind of have some post-traumatic, stress on the next guy that I want to be talking about, because he has the similarities of what I call the Lynn Bowden, right? We've heard of Lynn Bowden. Lynn Bowden was that quarterback / wide receiver / joker, whatever situation, and that didn't fully pan out. So hopefully, with this organization, it might, that it could possibly, pan out. But I don't see, even with the guys that we drafted, all of them being athletic, just to group them all together, I don't see all of these guys making the roster.
That's competition. That's a fair point there, Twan. I want to BL, thank you for joining us on the Captain Jack Rackham channel. And again, wherever you guys are at, whether you're on 401 Raider Jeff, I'm still trying to get used to it. It's YouTube, or Christopher Raiders YouTube, or T3's YouTube, or Twan's YouTube channel, or here at the Captain Jack Rackham channel. We ask you to please continue to comment on the chats. Please press those like buttons. Please subscribe to all of it, because it really does help all of this out. And again, everybody here is very passionate about our team, so we appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you, BL, for joining us. And I'll give you just my final thoughts on it before we move on to that 7th round pick and the linebackers, and then we can get going on the exciting ones. So Cam Miller, if you look at him, and again, you guys can start doing your research now. 6'1", he's got some abilities. He won the national championship against Montana State for the FCS. We all know that there are good quarterbacks that have come out from the FCS, so it's not like we don't know that. But I got it. And again, everybody kind of said their words about Cam Miller, but I'm telling you guys, Malik Williams from UNL, who took over for Matthew Sluka, who turned his back on our team at UNLV after the 3rd game, talking about money and craziness. And Malik Williams, who was actually the better quarterback, proudly sat behind him and said, you know what? I'm going to do what's right for the team. And as soon as he took over, UNLV took off to the point where we almost went to the playoffs. We almost beat Ashton Genty and Boise State. That almost happened. It was that close of a game. I was there that night. That's why I also know Ashton Genty is the real deal. But I'll tell you this about Malik Williams and why I believe the Raiders took him. If you think about Geno, the way he throws, the way he rolls, the way he moves, Malik Williams could do all of that. But the one thing Malik Williams does even better than Geno is when he takes the ball and he takes off, he's gone. So just on a practice squad alone, it would be helpful to have Malik Williams in the team, because he would be able to kind of emulate some of the things that Mahomes and some of these other running quarterbacks could do to us. So this is why I believe Carter Bradley will most likely be kicked out, and it'll most likely be Malik Williams. The contest now that I'm interested in, guys, is Cam Miller versus Malik Williams, because we already know Aiden O'Connell's going to make it, and obviously Geno's there. But if the Raiders choose to carry a third in the 53-man roster, a third quarterback, I could see it being Malik Williams. I could also see them saying we're only going to carry 2 and then we'll just drop them to the practice squad and hope that no one takes them and stuff like that. So we'll see. And then you guys already pretty much said it. And Turf was texting me about Tommy Mellott. And yeah, he's so crazy athletic that would you guys rather have Dylan Lobby fumbling the ball, or would you rather have Tommy Mellott be the special team? So
I'll take Mellott.
I'll take Mellott.
Yeah.
And I think that also
I think he's a little faster than Lobby. I don't know how fast he running again. Jeff
4.39.
4.39.
At least faster, and he's looking more elusive. Like I seen watch some of the tape on Montana, and he got that feet, that quick shift feet, and he gets going. He could
pretty fast for a white boy, that's for sure. I gotta say that much. I mean that's for a white kid coming out.
And man. And another thing on top of that, he can jump. So, but anyway, I think he'll take Lobby's spot because the guy looks swift. I mean, there's fast, there's quick, and there's swift. There's swift is like he's gone. So I think he'll take Lobby, the heartbeat.
All right. Well, let's move on, and hopefully everybody's getting kind of the opinions. Again, thank you to the chat. You guys are rocking it tonight. Chat lives do matter, so thank you very much. Continue to put your questions or your comments on the chat. We all appreciate it on everybody's channels. 7th round pick, we finally picked up a linebacker, and when we were on Jeff's show, we had been asking for a linebacker since the 4th round. We kept going, hey Jeff, what do you think about this? Hey Chris, and then they just kept passing, and we're like, all right, man, they got to get somebody. And I think it was a 805 Raider, Paul, who said, him and I were kind of going at it because I like Jackson Woodard from UNLV, who ended up getting signed to Seattle.
He called this guy out earlier.
Yeah, he called this guy. He liked Cody Lindenberg from the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And if you guys watch him, he's going to make the team. Part of the reason why he will make this team is because he captains everyone too. He teaches everyone. So he's a culture kind of guy. And I can see him totally making the 53-man roster. I'm not quite sure. I don't think he'll be starting or anything like that. He's probably at least a 1-year project, possibly a 2. But before I get everybody's takes on this, I do want to let you know that we also picked up 2 more linebackers. One kid from Baylor, Matt Jones, who looks pretty good. And then the other kid from Indiana. I'll get you the name once we get going and everybody's talking about it. But sent over the tapes. I think I sent it over to Jeff. I sent it over to somebody, and I was like,
"You did."
Hey,
I had so much going on today. I didn't get a chance to watch any of it.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I can see one of those guys beating out some of the other guys that we already have under contract too. So it's going to be a very competitive linebacker room now that we have that.
Oh, you mean like Eichenberg's position might not be safe?
No. I think Tommy's going to stay because we picked him 5th. But
they must have really found something they like in him because
I was thinking
heavy on linebackers during the draft is the thing.
Yeah, I was thinking more like if you watch Amari Gaynor and then you watch these other 2 that we just took in Matt Jones, and I'll remember the Indiana kid's name in a sec. They can kind of do all the things that Amari Gaynor can do, so he might be the one that gets taken out. But there are others that are I'll start naming them once you guys start going. But let's start with you, Jeff, on the linebacker room, and let's your opinion now that we picked up 3 since 7th round pick and the 2 UDFAs. Where are you at now with the linebacker room, and what do you think of that Cody Lindenberg kid?
I mean, I don't know a lot about him other than what 805 was talking about when he was on the show with us yesterday. And all I know is he was hyped on him, hoping that we could get him at some point. And when we got him in the 7th, he was ecstatic that we were able to grab the guy. I mean, compared to what our linebacker situation's been lately, the only bright spot we had in linebacker prior to was Spillane, and he's gone now. We weren't going to pay him that kind of money. I know everybody's upset that we lost, Spillane. He was kind of like obviously he was our leader on defense, along with Max. They were the 2 backbones of that defense. Did we improve the linebackers since Spillane was gone? Maybe. We don't know yet. It's kind of hard to really put a grade or a feeling on what we did with this linebacker room right now because, number one, we're 24 hours from the end of the draft, or just a little over 24 hours from the draft ending. We've picked up undrafted free agents. Until OTAs start and training camps and reports start coming back out as far as, how this guy looks, from all these different beat reporters, and then spreading the word, and, fans being in the practice, watching the practices and getting a feel for it. Until that time comes, I got to reserve judgment on pretty much almost all of these guys that we drafted. You have to. And we're bringing in from undrafted free agents. Because until that time, it's all just, this guy looks good. He looks great on paper. Until we get into the physical aspect of the practices, really can't you can put a grade on how we did in the draft with the talent available of these players, from their college time. But you can remember, different beasts, college to pros, man. Once they get under the spotlight of the, the pro level, playing with, grown ass men, it's a different story. Some of these kids may fold, some of them may actually shine. You never know. So I got to kind of reserve judgment on the linebacker room right now. Did we do better? Who knows? We brought in bodies though to compete. That's the big thing.
Well, and that's a fair sentiment. The other kid's name is Jalen Walker from Indiana. So Matt Jones from Baylor, Jalen Walker from Indiana. You guys who are listening on the Roku channel or on the YouTube channel or Facebook or any of the Captain Jack network or everybody else's Heroes network, look them up. Jalen Walker is kind of like Amari Gaynor. That's what I was saying. We'll see what happens there. T3, what do you think about the linebacker room now that we picked up all these people?
All right, I'm gonna talk about the linebackers real quick, and then I'm gonna jump ahead and just talk about one of the player because I've got school in the morning, so I'm here on the East Coast, and I've got to cut it short. So I'll.
Don't worry about those kids.
They ain't paying attention anyway.
Yeah, I know. Kids.
Anyway, as far as the linebackers, I think I mentioned this previously. I was not happy with the fact that we waited as late as we did to get a linebacker. When the second round came around and the 48th pick was there, I was hoping that the Raiders were going to pick up Demetrius Knight, the linebacker out of South Carolina. Instead, they traded back and got some additional picks. But then when it got down to the pick of Dante Thornton, the wide receiver out of Tennessee, who I know people are raving about, Danny Stutzman, the linebacker of Oklahoma, was right there, 2 picks behind. That was the other guy that I was hoping that they would pick up to fill that linebacking need. He's a guy that I'd had penciled in numerous mock drafts, and that was another linebacker I thought got away. So the Lindenberg pick was good. Again, he'll probably make the roster. Do I think he's going to be a starter? I think that really depends on injuries. There were some guys that got thrust into positions along that starting linebacking core simply because of injuries. So one thing that the Raiders have done over the years is they've neglected that linebacking spot, just like they've neglected the defensive tackle spot. And when that happens and you don't have that consistency in the pipeline year after year, you end up thrusting people in who are in over their heads. Now, I will mention one of the player, and I think it's probably the next one that's up on the list to mention, and that's J.J. Peggs. He's the defensive tackle that was selected at number 180. Now, I'm going to put this in the YouTube comment section also. J.J. Peggs is my sleeper of the entire Raiders draft, and I'll tell you why. He is at pick 180. His measurables, the program that he comes from, he came from a Mississippi program that was just a stud program up and down the line. Very reminiscent of a 2012 program that had studs up and down the line from the University of Oklahoma. And in the 2013 draft at pick 184, the Raiders picked up a guy by the name of Stacy McGee. You may or may not remember. Stacy McGee was a 6th round pick. He not only made the team, he actually became a starter for that squad. Surprised everybody. And the only thing that shocks me is the fact that they did not extend him and keep him on the team because he was a really, really good player. So that could have been the first player that had gotten a contract extended from his rookie year, but was not. Now, having said that, I think that Pegs has all the same measurables that Stacey McGee had. I can not only see him making the team, but I could conceivably see him, if an injury happens, moving into a starting role, or at least a rotational starting position. I'm really high on JJ Pegs. I think he's going to be my sleeper of this entire Raiders draft. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the OTAs, what he does in the preseason. And again, and you heard it here first, do not be surprised to see him be a rotational piece on that Raiders defensive front in the 2025 season.
We might even see him do some fullback, right? T3.
Yeah. You might see him receiving a pass, or maybe coming in as a jumbo fullback for that push play.
Yeah, what was his stat line? Like 21 rushing attempts, and 15 of those were touchdowns.
Yeah. He was a runner. Not just but he's not just a pass receiver, but they had him in as a runner, as a fullback. So a lot of versatility there.
I love the kid. I think it was a great pick.
That's going to be my sleeper of the entire draft, and I want people to keep an eye on him. Even though he's a 6th rounder, he's going to turn some heads in camp. So keep an eye on him.
And speaking of sleeper, is that your cue to say you got to go night?
Yeah. All right, you got it. Listen, I'll catch up with you guys later, and I'll certainly circle back around and see what your comments were for the rest of the program. But appreciate you having me on as always. And
thank you, T3. Before you go again, please tell everybody where they can follow you. You got those awesome videos. Go ahead and let everybody know.
Absolutely. If you go onto YouTube to T3 Sports Guy, I've got some videos on there. But also wherever you get your podcast, if you'll search Raider Roots, I've got about 75 episodes up. What it does is it takes the Raiders year by year, all the way back to the very first year. And it talks about the things that happen on the field and some behind the scenes off the field. Did a lot of research, started with this project a couple of years ago. I'm up through the year 2022 now. I'm putting together a 2-part episode on the 2023 season before I get to 2024, which probably shouldn't take that long to listen to. But anyway, just wherever you find your podcasts, search Raider Roots. If you want to catch up on all the Raiders history going all the way back, that's the way to do it.
And can I just tell you guys, and I'm not just saying it because he's here, but it's a really, if you're a new Raider fan, or if you're just a recent Raider fan and you want to truly understand the culture of the Raiders and why we have such a big nation, you got to listen to Raider Roots. Find it on Spotify, Apple, whatever, all this stuff. And it's really educational. I mean, truly educational to the point where you'll start to catch up to some of the Captain Jack knowledge out there. So thank you for that, Tom. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. And I look forward to jumping on with you guys at a later time.
Tom, real quick before you go, are you on Instagram too?
I'm not. I'm limited in terms of what limited things I have, but I'm on Facebook, Tom THOM Jones. I'm on Raider T-Bone on the X, and then the YouTube channel.
And then you can email him too, Jeff, because you have his email.
Yeah.
Well,
and you have his phone number.
I got your number. Yeah. I got your number.
My phone number is in the private chat. Just send me a text.
No, you already have his number, Jeff. It's on the group. It's on the group when we did it the first time. Yeah, you already have his number, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
That's okay. I'll send you a text. I'll send you a text.
Thanks,
right.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. All right. Great, gentlemen. Have a great evening. Take care.
Take care.
Tom is truly a blessing, guys. He's. I mean,
I
again,
think you already know where I'm going with this with him.
If you want to catch up on the stuff, the big thing with I'll tell you this, Jeff. The biggest thing you have to understand about Tom's schedule is he's so busy that it's kind of rare to get him right. Like you can ask, but it's really rare. He can't do something that's unnormal because he is doing those projects. Like his extra time is those projects. That's why when we can get him in on a guest and he'll guest for Captain's show, or if you can get him to guest on your show, those are like few and far between, right? Yeah. But when you guest them, if you end up having him for an extended period of time, he reads off stats, man. Like he's got like bang, 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 bang.
I want to talk to him about our Saturday show that Chris and I do at night, where we cover Raider history.
Yeah, honestly, he probably won't be able to do that one because I tried to even invite him to yesterday's, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. But every once in a while he'll pop in, especially if you need like some.
It's the second time I've been on a panel with him, you guys.
No, he's amazing. He's amazing. That's why we always have him at Captain Jack show. Yeah, he's amazing. He's It's really great. Hey, shalom to Bishop. And then thanks to Jason Downs there. Yes. So if you watch the Captain Jack Rackham show, it's not the back and forth kind of like making fun that me and Chris do on Jeff's show. Because in the Captain Jack Rackham.
Wait. Back up. I'll make fun of you.
Oh, here it goes. Now it's going to start.
No. But what I'm saying is we're a little bit more loud. We're a little bit more loud and boisterous on the Jeff show. And you have to understand on the Captain Jack Rackham show, we are on Roku and it's a 2-hour period. So I have to put my DJ voice on, man. I got to do it, Jason. I do have the ability to do radio since I used to do a ton of media in the professional fight sports, as Jeff knows and Twan knows about me. So,
time restraints, 45 minutes.
Yep. So, but thank you. I appreciate that. I want to get Chris's takes on the linebacker room, and in particular, if he knows anything about Cody Lindenberg or the Baylor's Matt Jones. Chris might have watched them. I don't know. So, what do you think about the linebacker room now, Chris?
Well, you know what happened to me on draft night. You saw that right before the 7th pick, my power blinked, and I couldn't even watch it. I couldn't watch the TV. So I had to wait 20, 30 minutes, and my power came back up. I looked at Lindenberg. Yeah, he's a good, tough, rugged running linebacker. But who I really like is that guy Jalen Walker they picked up. He looked like to me like a sideline. The sideline can cover a tight end linebacker style, you know. So I'm interested in seeing what he does in camp. The other guy, Matt Baylor, didn't really get a chance to watch much about him, but I really watched Jalen Walker because he looked like. Let's see, he looked like okay. He can be I forgot his name, Diablo, but better. You know, that kind of linebacker supposed to help cover. So I'm gonna see him. The other guys I haven't watched yet, but I did see on Jalen Walker because I thought it was the other Jalen Walker. I said, wait a minute, I thought he got drafted, but it's not. It's a different Jalen Walker. But I think I like him better than the other guys, but we'll see in camp. The Lindenberg guy, I really get a chance to watch it. He'd probably be more like a Spillane type linebacker. What I look at is some of his.
That's correct. That's correct.
He could explain. So, like I said, he'd probably be one of those. Depending on the defense situation, he'd probably come in for a certain type of defense to take Roberts or Devin White. Because Devin White's older, so you know, I don't know how much injury history he has. So you got guys that these guys get hurt. They won't lose us. They won't lose a step because our biggest thing was that somebody get injured, we fall down. You know, we go backwards. But now what they drafted, what they picked UDFA, if somebody go down, we won't lose a beat. We're right back. We're still the same. We haven't changed. We haven't slowed down. So I like Jalen Walker, Lindenberg. I want to check out some more later on, and the other guy, Matt Jones. Is it Matt? Yeah, Matt Jones. I'm gonna look at those guys' tape and see how they are. But all in all, we need linebackers. I'm mad that we went so late to get them. I wish we got the other guy from Georgia, but somebody was picking him up. But other than all, okay. We'll see what we got.
Great. Thank you, Chris. And real quick, Twan, I just want to shout out to all Eyes on G. You're awesome, man. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Guys, I'm doing the best that I can to catch up. So please trust me. I'm trying to put up your comments, but I'm a little bit behind. Twan, your thoughts on the linebackers with the 3 new ones we picked up and how our linebacker room looks now?
I'm looking at more roster wise, and I think what this organization is doing is they're trying to flush in not running backs, but linebackers for this team. Because to be honest with you, the only starter that we have, a serious starter, is Roberts. We want to say Devin White's a starter, but they didn't give him starter money. They gave him a 1-year contract and said, hey, prove it. So they're not even believing that he can be that, you know what I'm saying, to solidify what we have going up front. So they're bringing in guys, and, you know, the Amari brothers are on notice. I'm talking about Amari Gaynor and Amari Burney. I think those guys are on notice with the guys that they're bringing in, and that's where the competition is going to really get really nasty for those guys. And I'm all for it. I've said this so many times. I don't care who they bring in, as long as, it could be Blue's Clues at linebacker. If he ends up beating out everybody, then I expect Blue Clue to be on the field. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're doing with these guys. So these UDFAs and these guys that didn't get drafted, they're giving them the opportunity, and they're actually getting the opportunity, because right now we only have one starter at linebacker.
No, that's a great take, Twan. And before we go on, I told you guys earlier when the show at Roku started that we may have a very special guest coming on, and here he is right now. And I wasn't talking about Captain Jack because it's his show. He's not really a special guest. He's just a special person. But I say special guest because this man, when I tell you that his show is really helped build this friendship during my time of recovery. April right now is Donate Life Month. It's about talking about organ donation. And for you guys who are familiar with my story, I had 30 days to live. I was blessed with the gift of life, second chance because of organ donation. And I talk about it every April. And this guy, I don't want to get too emotional, but he really brought me into the fold, had me on a 5-hour show with Stuart Schwaggart and Captain Jack. And I'm proud to call him a friend. I can tell you guys right now, you go to his channel every single day and there's always content, and he brings in great interviews from people. And this is not only a true Raider fan, but I think he's starting to get to that Raider analyst, Raider media, I might want to say, and he might have a press pass here real soon. But I'm talking about Protect the Shield podcast all the way from Ohio. My guy, Chris, Protect the Shields. Thank you, sir, for gracing us. I know you only got a few minutes, but
Angelo, check the private messages.
Yeah, hey, Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Angelo, man, I appreciate you, man, but I know special guest, man. I'm just a fan like all you guys, man, and I just enjoy it. But yeah, we definitely got a for life friendship, man. I'm glad that I was able to help you through whatever you need to get through and got you on this content, man. So it's a pleasure, being on the screen with everybody, man. Jeff and Twan and Chris, man, all you guys, man. So
it's the first time on screen with me.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. So I don't got that much time. I got to jump. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure I linked up with you guys, man.
Yeah, no, and I'll tell you, Chris, since this is just a special edition to have you on, what we're doing on the show, and we got about another 40 minutes, was just going backwards, right? So we got to the point where we're talking about the linebacker room, because we talked about those two back-to-back quarterback 6th rounders and then the 7th round pick. And then we're going to start talking about the 5th rounders and all the way up. But since you're only here for a few minutes, can you go over your expert thoughts on all of it, just all across the board, your overall thoughts, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, so real quick, just when I look at the overall grade, and I know Angelo, me and you were talking, throughout pretty much all of it. So I'll start at the beginning. With the Genty pick, I was a trade back guy. There was a couple guys that I wanted, and if they weren't there, I was trading back. So I wasn't necessarily super thrilled about Genty, but as a prospect, I love him. I think he's a dog. I think he's going to be a dog. But after seeing what the Browns did, that trade set them up for the next few years. That's how you really do a true rebuild. So I wanted to trade back, but maybe no one wanted to trade with us. We don't know. We're just fans, so we don't know behind the scenes. But then the Jack Bech pick, that's when I got a little concerned because, again, him as a prospect by himself, he's a great prospect. But we all know our wide receiver room lacks what? We lack a guy that is a true deep threat, 50-50 ball guy. We didn't have that. And I'm like, what are we doing? Because we already have Jacoby. We have Brock Bowers, both guys that can really work the middle, pause. But we didn't have a guy that could stretch the field. So, what do you guys? So are you guys trying to tell me that we're going to have Jack be our deep threat? No. So that's why I was not happy about that. Then going to our next pick, I love the fact that we were trading back. I love that, be able to pick up more picks. And then who do we get next? I think it was Rodgers. I do like Rodgers at guard. Definitely like Rodgers at guard. Charles Grant, he's a little green, but he has the tools to be able to, eventually become, compete for a starting job, but he's just not really, he's not there yet. not there yet. But day 3, when we got Thornton, that is when things started coming together for me, because it's like that makes, shout out to my boy Severe, because he was he says it so eloquently, but that made the rest of the draft picks kind of make more sense, because just having him on the field is going to help Genty. It's going to help Jack. It's going to it's going to help Gino. It's going to help everybody at that point, because now we got a guy that's going to take that that's going to get that safety's attention. Yeah. You better not leave him one-on-one with a 6-foot corner. You better not, because we'll get it done, because Gino can throw the deep ball. So I really like that. Then after Thornton, who do we get? I'm trying to remember. That's when we got Tom
Thornton. After Thornton.
Oh, I forgot about Porter. My bad.
Yeah, that's what I was.
My bad. My favorite pick was actually Darian Porter, because we definitely needed an aggressive corner, a guy with size, a guy that can run. And then when you think about pairing him up with Jacorian Bennett, we probably had the fastest pair of DBs in the league. On top of Eric Stokes, he's a 4.3 guy. We have Palomal, he's an athletic freak. And then even our safety that we just got, he's a burner. We probably have the fastest DB room, so I'm excited about that. And then going to Tonka was a head scratcher for me, because there were some other DTs that I wanted, like I know Cam Jackson was on the board, Farmer was on the board, there was a couple other guys, and again I wanted a 2-gap, nose tackle type DT, where we did get him, with what's his name, JJ, what's his name? Okay, yeah. So he's more of that. So I definitely love that pick. So then the 2 6-round picks, a little questionable. I'm learning more about them. I know a lot of guys are trying to say we got Julian Edelman 2.0. So it's like I always want to pump the brakes on that, because we all thought that we had Christian McCaffrey 2.0. So let's just wait and see what happens. But then I think
he's more like Renfro, a faster version of Renfro.
Renfro.
That's my opinion. Yeah. I don't think Edelman at all with him.
Tougher, bro, a beast, but
yeah, for sure. So that's kind of where I'm at, man. I hate to be so long-winded, but that's kind of where I'm at with it.
And that's why I wanted you to do that, because I know you got to go. There is this, and I want to bring this up, Chris, because Edward Winchell says, I think AOC better start putting the word out. He'll be available. What do you think about that? Now that, because my boy Haj Malik, man, that's my guy, Haj Malik. And I said when I wanted a bunch of UNLV guys to go to the Raiders, but when he went on, I was like, Carter Bradley's out. And in all honesty, man, I think Cam Miller might be a practice squad guy, because Haj Malik could do everything that Gino can do. I mean, not to Gino's level. I'm just saying ability wise, he can emulate, he can mix and match. Well, what do you think about that comment? Do you think AOC's gone, or do you think something else?
No, you actually got me hip to him, man. In fact, I remember talking to you during that Boise State UNLV game, and you got me hip. Actually, you got me hip ever since that UNLV quarterback quit on you guys. So what it does tell me is Chip Kelly is bringing in athletic quarterbacks, and the only athletic one that we don't have is AOC. So a lot of times when you're trying to build an offense, you want all your quarterbacks to be able to run the offense the same way. So I don't know, man. AOC, I know a lot of people love him, man, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if it's gonna make too much sense keeping him. That's just me.
What do you think his trade value would be?
We got him in the 4th round.
Late 4th.
I hate to say it, man, but I don't think no one's going to give us more than I think a 5th is pushing it. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I know people think we're going to get like a 3rd for him. There's no way. There's no way. No way. He already shows he can't stay healthy. He he can't move. I mean, he does show some good arm talent at times, but I can't see no one giving up a day 2 pick for him. That's just me though.
Wow.
What do you think though? Well, I mean, I know you love him, but
First of all, I don't want to hear. Yeah, first of all, I don't want to hear no trade talks. I think me and Jeff are on the same track here. Well, you don't want to trade Aiden O'Connell. He's already proven he's got adversity, toughness. I already told all of you guys. Me and Chris actually were on the Captain Jack Rackham show when we were going over trenches shows and all kinds of stuff. And me and Chris have been on the Protect the Shield podcast together and Captain Jack Rackham together, going back and forth about Aiden O'Connell, and me trying to explain to him that had he came out the year before he did, when he took Purdue to the bowl games, was beating Michigan State, was balling, he'd have been at least the number 15th overall pick. And he had a first round grade. So I don't think we should get rid of him. That's me. I know Jeff's going to agree with me, but I don't want to get too filled into the
only reason I say you don't want to get rid of him is you get rid of him. Now who's your real backup in case Gino goes down? I would feel more confident with AOC coming in as the backup than I would with Bradley or Miller or anybody else that's in our quarterback room. At that point, might as well just put Jacoby Myers back there at that point. At least he's super athletic. We can freaking run the ball.
No, I agree.
That's how I look at it. I still think AOC is one of the best backups in the league, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I agree.
I just think it's funny that a lot of people are so ready to get rid of a quarterback when we really ain't got that many quarterbacks in the first place in that room. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really ain't got quarterbacks that we can say, oh, we can on week 7, that person can go out there and not, you know what I'm saying, totally stink up the joint and not try to keep us in games. You know what I'm saying? Like that,
but he's easily replaced. He's easily upgradable.
No, he's replaceable, but we don't have. It's not like we have anybody behind him or anything to push that. So why even mess with it at this point?
My thing is.
At this point, I think, whether you try to get trade value from him or not, I think you just let his rookie contract play out and let the chips fall where they may at that point. You know what I'm saying? You got a good 4 years of service from him, you know what I'm saying, being a depth piece or possibly being a starter for us in those 4 years. So thank you for your 4 years of service, and we're on to the next. But at least if we're bringing people in, then we could eventually flush him out. But I don't think we're in that place right now.
Well, my thing is, LT never got a fair shot at doing anything. He came in, they drafted him in the 4th round, so you expect the 4th round pick to be the starter. But still, he was better than what we had. We had Jimmy Glass and old man Hoyer. Okay, he had to learn. But then the next following year, what they do? Bring in Minshew and all that stuff. He never got a fair shot at it. When Garoppolo went down, all that stuff. What McDummy do? Throw him in, no practice, nothing, and look like I told you, rookie didn't play. So basically, he tried to make himself look good. So he never got a fair shot. He should have started last year. So why are we going to trade away one of the best? I think the best backup quarterback, like Jeff said. If Gino goes down, you gonna bring a rookie in? No. This guy been there for 3 years, going on 4. Bring him in until Gino gets better. So no trade, OC. Just keep him.
You know what I would do though? Whoever doesn't shake out in the Giants, I would take them as our backup.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Hey, I said holla at Jameis before he went over there.
Yeah,
just to be honest with you. Before he went over there, I was like, let's see what Jameis is talking about.
He's a great teammate, if nothing else. He's a great teammate.
As a backup, I didn't want him.
I wouldn't mind
talking about looking for a starter.
No. But as far as someone that in cases of injury, you bring them in. Yeah, but yeah, or Russ. Like they're not going to keep all them guys over there. So somebody's going to have to shake out, and then who get whoever for the league minimum. I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
So how about those offensive linemen we drafted this weekend?
No. Stop it, man. Stop it. So no, Chris. Before we move forward, we have 30 minutes left on the show.
We're kicking a dead horse here.
But while Chris is still here, I want to just give a quick shout out to Coach Gravy, Mike Cavazos. He's my for the longest time for when I was with you guys, when I was on Protect the Shield podcast last few years, I'd always be Raider transplant. I was the only liver transplant. I'm coming on, right? Then my brother, God bless him, got his liver transplant. He's in recovery right now, 4 months. We pray for him all the time. He's doing so great. He was on a show for like 12 hours. It was insane. I don't know how this guy has that much energy. 4 months
talking shit the whole time. Just like Gravy does.
We love you, Coach Gravy. April is Donate Life Month. We appreciate you, bro. And thank you to all the organ all the people who consider organ donation out there. That's the reason why me and Coach Gravy are alive today. So thank you guys. And then without further ado, Chris, I know you got to leave, but before you do, I got to bring in a man who there's not a lot of us Asians, representing the nation on camera. And as you know, Chris has been pushing me to do my own channel since like 2023, I think. And he knows that the recovery for a liver transplant takes a long time. But in the meantime, I started watching this guy who I still haven't seen, even though we live like 15 minutes away from each other here in Las Vegas. I still haven't seen him personally, but I see him on the shows all the time. He's been on the Captain Jack Rackham show a few times. And if you guys want solid information, I mean, like deep level stuff, draft, and I'm talking about recent times too, because when we were on Jeff's show, he's the one that said, well, I like Cody Lindenberg, when I was trying to say I like Jackson Woodard. And this is the guy who gets credit for us taking Cody Lindenberg. I can't say enough about this man. Paul, or as you know him, 805 Raider. Welcome to the Captain Jack Rackham Show here on Roku channel.
What's going on, guys? Hey, I appreciate you guys letting me jump on for a second. And Angelo, I appreciate the intro. Our Raiders haven't drafted so well, so I'm not sure if me bragging about Cody Lindenberg will actually pan out. But I'll take the credit where I can grab it.
All right.
But no, man, I appreciate jumping. I just want to jump on real quick and say thanks to Jeff, Christopher Raiders, Angelo, Twan, you guys, man, we hung out all day yesterday for basically that first the day 3, and you guys let me jump on and chop it up with you guys. And so I just want to jump on and say I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being there with us. That was fun. Yeah. That was a good day.
Yeah, man. I got a little comfortable for you guys sitting in my chair over here.
The guns out. Yeah, the guns out too.
It was good. Yeah. I'm away today.
The best guesting Paul ever did for the Jeff show is he called in at like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. It was really late. He was super happy. You remember that night, Jeff? He was super happy that we did what we did, and he was like 2 bottles in.
We're gonna call it happy. Yes, I was.
Wait, was that the Adam Butler day?
That was the Adam Butler day.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh yeah.
He was on one.
He stumbled into the show with a bottle in his hand. It was fucking great.
He was feeling good.
Our man Paul was like slurring, like, I'm so happy right now.
I was keeping my
as happy
kids
as
up.
I was by the end of the night, Friday night.
I was keeping my kids up in the house. It was bad. It was bad. It was, I think it was a comment from somebody in the live yesterday and asked, hey, do you guys ever go back and learn from what you did in the past? And my instant answer was, yeah, I think I learned from that one. Maybe I'll keep the bottle hidden around the corner. So yeah, that was a good one, man. But I want to jump on here just real quick. I know you guys only have about 30 minutes, but just want to say, hey, appreciate it. Thanks for letting me jump on and chop it up with you guys. And
now, before you go, we do want to get that overall take, kind of like what Chris did, because I know you got to jump on to your show. Which, by the way, if you guys aren't following him yet, please subscribe, please like. He does a show just about every day. Severe.
We just ended.
Yeah,
they just finished.
Oh, you just ended it. Okay,
we just ended.
If you guys are jumping on to this one now,
I have to just get to the wife and kids because I was up with the draft for the last 3 days, and so I'm like, okay.
Hey, but salute to y'all, man. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much,
Twan, Chris, man. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, so just real quick, Paul, your overall take 1 through 7 draft, and then we'll let you go. Go ahead.
I think what was good is all the picks kind of made sense. Like they countered each other, right? You got Genty, and then you got your guards. You got Jack Besh, which again just kind of seemed like more of a possession receiver, like Jacoby Myers. So you're trying to figure out, okay, what's the plan? Are we going to have a bunch of receivers that are going to work, within that 10 to 30 yard range, and everything's going to be muddled up? But then they followed up with Deontay Thornton, right, which is a guy that can stretch the field. So, I think, and obviously the Porter pick was good because you gotta address this secondary. We weren't sure whether or not we were going to be satisfied with the free agents that we brought in, right? So we weren't sure just kind of what the overall consensus, and they went and got Darian Porter, so it looks like they got the secondary some help. I wish we would have gotten a linebacker a little bit earlier. Yeah, we got Lindenberg, which was great, but you don't expect much from a 7th rounder. You don't expect a 7th rounder to come in and make a massive move. And as much as I like the kid, he's still a 7th rounder. You just don't know what you're going to get truly out of him at this level. I wish we would have maybe taken an earlier pick, like the Hemingway pick. There's an overall consensus that we probably could have gotten Hemingway a little bit later. And if we would have done that and picked a linebacker in that position, I think that would have made more sense. But we didn't. But I think overall, we addressed a lot of the needs. A lot of the picks complemented each other. And I think you can clearly say that this offense got better. This offense got better. We addressed the offensive line. We got Genty. Deontay Thornton's going to take the top off the defense, which is something we haven't had last year. We thought Trey Tucker could be it. Maybe he still can be. But what we've seen so far, he struggles with separation, and that has to do with a lot of route running. His ability to just be more efficient in his route running and being able to get defenders, manipulate defenders' bodies to turn, and then he cuts at the right time. I just don't think he has it, and he hasn't been able to get that separation. So hopefully that is going to allow him to be more of, I guess, to really see what we have out of him. I think that's the biggest thing is before we move on from Trey Tucker, we got to figure out exactly what we have. And I think Deontay Thornton's going to help him kind of be more of that receiver that can expose zone coverages and run a lot of crossers where he can get from one side to the other side. And let's see if those DBs can keep up with him. Let's just hope we can see more out of him. So, I think at the end of the day, I think we just graded it on our channel between myself, Chris, and Severe, and we basically I gave it a B+, because we addressed a lot of needs. Those back-to-back quarterbacks in the 6th round was a little iffy, but the only thing I can think of that would potentially justify making those picks is you had an early 7th round. You had one early 7th round. It did look like they probably targeted that linebacker because they missed on linebackers early. If you let certain quarterbacks get to the outside of the draft and now they become undrafted free agents, I'm not versed on that process. I'll be honest. I don't know how that process is, but I could see that maybe in their minds, if they're high on those guys, you let them become undrafted free agents. Now it's a bidding war, it sounds like. And if you really like those guys, don't let them get to the undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we had so many picks on the front part of this draft. I mean, we had 11 total picks. That's the most picks the Raiders have had in the last 20 years. I think only one year of the last 20, we've picked 11 players in the draft. Usually it's around 8 players. That's kind of the average. And so I think they did so much work and had so many picks in the front part of the draft. It almost kind of gave them that flexibility a little bit to say, look, if there's a couple players we don't want to get to the undrafted free agent bid war, we just snag them now. And maybe that was their mindset. And they got them. They're on the roster, and now they get to see what they got in them. So that's the only way I can kind of justify that, because when that pick happened, I'm sitting there going, damn, they sound like undrafted free agents to me. Not sure why we're snagging them late in the 6th, but only way I can kind of justify it.
And Paul, that's exactly what it is. It's literally what they're doing in college now is the NIL. There's two things that match up when you're a UDFA. When you get that UDFA call, it is the opportunity. Like you look at a team, it's like, okay, I'm a linebacker. What is the chances of me actually making the 53? Okay, maybe I need to go over there. But then the second part of that is money. So there's money also involved with that. So they can say, hey, come over here. There's an opportunity for you to be a linebacker, but then we're also going to give you $700K You know what I'm saying? So it becomes a bidding war on that too, money wise, but also the opportunity of play. So that if you want to avoid that, you know what I'm saying, you definitely have to pull the trigger on them in the draft.
Yeah, 100%. The more and more I thought about it, I said, look, if they were really high on these guys, then and you did not want them to get out of the draft, and enter that bidding war, then that's why you pulled the trigger. So I'm assuming there's something about them they really like. They've obviously done their homework. And I think at the end of the day, this is not Spytek, because this is his first time running the ship. But with Pete Carroll has done it before. He's done it at a high level. He's proven that he's one of the best to do it, at least in this, as it relates to the coaches that are available now that are in the league. And so at least in Pete Carroll, I'll trust the process, see how he does, and we'll see what we can make of these guys. So,
and Paul, before you do go, shout out to the chat, man. You guys are awesome. Believe me, I'm trying to catch up. I'm putting up everybody's comments in there. There's a lot going on. I want to ask you one last thing, Paul, so that I want to get the thing with Paul is he played it, he coaches it. I'm sure his girls are probably going to play flag football
or cheerleaders, whichever one.
Or cheerleaders. Well, flag football probably, but we'll see. Or cheerleaders. It depends on what you want, Paul. It depends on what they want.
No, it depends on what they want. I just live in this world. That's it.
Yep.
And pay the bills. That's what Paul does.
Exactly. I work and pay the bills. You're right.
Yeah. But Paul, I think this is the first time in a long time. I can't remember a time where just about 90% of the Raider Nation is super happy with the way the draft went. The media is going crazy, giving us A's like nuts. And I wanted to just pump the brakes on everyone. My overall feeling is everybody's saying we're going to win the AFC East, or, sometimes you can get too happy. And I want to just take it a step back in that, you guys know that my background was in professional fight sports. I was coaching. I was there. And what I know about training people is that you got to give them time. So what I'm just hoping for the Raiders to do is to play all these guys this year, and whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to put the pressure or the onus on them to make it to the playoffs. But in your professional opinion, what do you think, Paul? Do you think this team is a ready team, or where are you at?
It's hard to sit there and go, this is a ready team. It's hard to do that with the moves they made, because I think we are going to rely on some of these rookies to be the final piece of the puzzle. Like a Deontay Thornton, he's the final piece of the puzzle to allow Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers to really work. Jack Besh, rookie, hopefully he pans out. And then we need that final piece at the guard position. Let's hope Caleb Rogers, he works out. I think we're relying a little bit on some of these rookies to be the final piece to the puzzle. But the only thing I can say is it's been a long time, but it's been a handful of years since we've had really a quarterback that if we put the pieces around him, we have a fighting chance every single game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think Geno Smith is going to allow us to battle if we shore up this offensive line. We gave him, if Genty can be who a lot of us expect him to be, I think we're going to have a fighting chance every single time that we go into a game. We have a veteran that's going to understand the situation. Him and Pete Carroll obviously have a great relationship. You got now we also have, and Angelo, you just said it, with the coaching side, we now have an offensive coordinator that's did it before at this level.
Yeah.
And so now he's going to be able to produce an offense that I think a lot of us can say is going to give us a fighting chance. He's going to put an offense together that he knows what potentially can work at this level. It's been a long time since we've had an offensive coordinator that we all can feel confident about, that, you know what, he's done it before. Let's trust the process. And so, again, I'm not saying that we're going to the playoffs this year. I'm saying I think this roster and this coaching staff is set up to give us a fighting chance every single game. And I think it's kind of woken up our division rivals as well. I think that them seeing the roster that we have, the coaching staff we've put together, I think they now they know we mean business. We don't have, all respect to Antonio Pierce. He kind of put it was a rough situation for him, but at the end of the day, he was coaching high school football 6 years ago. And so the path that he got to becoming a head coach was not the proper path. Yeah. So there's a lot that he had to learn. We now have an experienced head coach, experienced coaching staff across the board that I think is going to allow us to have a fighting chance every single game. So that's what I'm excited about. That I think they're going to set this roster up to battle every Sunday.
I honestly feel like if you look at the other teams in our division at their draft this past weekend, I think they also semi-reacted to what we did, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, look at Denver. They just brought in another cornerback that's going to hopefully partner up. Well, not hopefully for us, but hopefully they're thinking, you know, he's going to play opposite of Surtain. You know, you see the Chargers just pulled in another running back. You know, you see these other teams in our division. If the wide receiver that went to Kansas City, right? That wasn't a wide receiver they took in the So I mean, you see these other teams in our division reacting, I think, to also what we're bringing in, just because of our coaching, just not because of what players we brought here. It's the coaching that we've got. You know, the team's gonna be going in the right direction. You know, so I'm extremely pleased with how this weekend went. You know, which is unusual for me as a Raiders fan after years and years of just being miserable after the drafts and coaching decisions. You know, I finally feel like, you know, we're starting to pump the water out of this ship and righten it a little bit here, you know. So I know Angelo asked earlier how I thought about the linebackers. I said, I got to wait, you know, until practices start. We get some preseason games, you know.
Yeah.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on, just I promise I'll let you talk. Chris, just to remind everybody again, we're on the Captain Jack Rackham channel on Roku. It's going to end in like 10 minutes, so I'm going to let Paul go. He's got a wife. He's got his 2 beautiful daughters. You know, I don't want to keep him here. Thank you, Paul, for your time. We appreciate it. Can you tell everybody where they can watch you again?
Yeah, I'm 805 Raider. My channel's Real Talk Raider Nation, so I appreciate it. I go live sometimes. I try to jump on with these guys when I can. Show my support, man. I appreciate you guys. And again, thank you for letting me join you guys yesterday. I had a good time. Got to chill out with you guys and chop it up. And so that's just what I do. Appreciate you guys, man. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Great channel. Make sure you guys hit his channel up for sure.
Thanks.
And then shout out to my man, Severe Raider. Thank you so much for always being supportive. And you know that we got a big boxing weekend, so you and I are going to have to talk offline on that. Thank you, Severe. Shout out. And then, with the few minutes that we do have left, let's go over it real fast. I'm going to combine the wide receivers together, right? And then we'll get a chance to talk to everything. And I'll start with you, Chris, on this. But overall, we get those 2 wide receivers in on Jeff's show, and we were going on for 8 hours and whatnot. We kept talking about how we need to address the wide receiver. We need to address the wide receiver. Well, now we got 2. We got a guy who ran the 4.3 flat in the combine. This guy is fast. He's fast. All right. 6'5", DK Metcalf lookalike, Dante Thornton. And then again, for me, I'm very high on Jack Besh. I want to hear you guys' quick thoughts on it, starting with you, Chris. I honestly believe that Jack Besh is a Fred Biletnikoff type. He catches the ball. Doesn't matter where you throw it. He'll catch the ball, and he's tough, and he's gritty, and he doesn't give a F. So what do you think, Chris, of the 2 wide receivers we picked up?
Well, we got to remember that Jacoby Myers had the least drop rate in the NFL last year. This guy, Best, dropped 1 pass in college. 1. So we got possession receivers. The Thornton guy, when they picked him, I looked at it like, okay, I keep telling you guys, that's what we need. We need a big receiver to go 50-50. We never had that. We had nobody that challenge downfield. I mean, we can depend on Brock. Yeah, we will. But we need somebody to open it up for Brock. We need that safety to peek in like, oh, shoot, I can't double team Brock. This guy's running past me. So let's go open Pilates for Brock, Jacoby, Beggs, and where the receiving crew would be. But anyway, I'll say this right quick, then I'm going to get off. This is the first draft I've seen in a long time. I've been Raven fan for a long time where I'm not doing this like, what the, you know? My hat had to stay on my head the whole time. So 90% of Raider fans happy. I think it's more than that. But anyway, I'm done.
Thank you. No, thanks, Chris. And do you have to go, or can you stick around till the end?
No. Yeah, I'm looking at the time because I know you talk for like 30 minutes and then you give some.
All right. Now this is what he does on the Jeff channel. But as you notice, throughout the 2 hours of the show right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one that spoke the least. All I did was introduce everyone. So,
They kept muting you.
Yeah. But Chris, all right, we're gonna say goodbye to Chris. Chris,
No,
I'm
not going nowhere.
Okay.
I'm just having.
All right, you're just messing around. All right. So go ahead, Jeff. The 2 wide receivers. Go ahead.
Great picks. Love them both. One kid definitely just watch his reaction when we called him. He wants to be here. You know, his personal tragedy, that story behind him with his brother it's emotional. If anybody doesn't know, not aware of it, his brother was one of the people that were killed in that terrorist attack in New Orleans. His brother, supposedly, from what I've heard, was a Raiders fan also. And after he got off the phone with us, first thing he did was he went to the gravesite to go visit his brother to let him know that he made it to the NFL, that he was drafted. So this kid wants to be a Raider, which makes you feel even better that, you know, he wants to be here and perform for this team. So let's hope that, you know, it works out. And I like Thornton. I like the other kid too, especially. I mean, tall, fast. That's Al Davis must be ecstatic right now if he's looking down on what this team just did this weekend. Just him alone, that speed, you know. We brought speed in. We haven't had that in a while like this.
Yeah, they called him the Mark Davis pick. That's what both Brandon.
Oh, did it? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, because Mark Davis
really?
really wanted him. Yeah, so that we might have to give the credit to the owner on that one. Go ahead, Twan. The 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, I think there's one that you can just rip him out the plastic and he's ready to go, and I think that's Jack Best. I think he's just a plug and go type of wide receiver. I don't think there's much he has to work on. Of course, there's going to be adjustments because he is a rookie going into the NFL. But when you talk about Thornton does have the measurables. Yes, he's fast and all of that stuff, but he's more of a one-trick pony. And unfortunately, you know, he's going to have to build on that. He's going to have to develop the route tree, you know what I'm saying, bigger than just the slant and the go route. You know, in college, a lot of times these wide receivers, if they're really good at one thing, that's what their coaches make them do, because of course it's a production organization in regards to, you know, college football. So if all he can do is run a 9-yard, then that, you know, run that 9 route, then that's what they're going to have him do. So when he gets here, there's going to be some lumps because he's going to have to learn the whole route tree for him to be that DK Metcalf or whatever, you know, people are trying to, you know, project him to be. So he's still considered a project. So we have one guy that's ready to go, and then one that I think is still a work in progress.
All right. And then let's cap it off, because we went over it. I mean, Chris kind of talked about Tonka Hemingway and everything else. And if you guys want more content, you go to Jeff's channel on 401 Raider Jeff, or as I usually Google it, NE Raider Booster Club, and then it shows up. But if Jeff's doing a show after this, talk more, that's fine. Captain Jack show's about to end. So I have to say that with the final, I guess the final pick we would talk about, because we can talk about Genty all we want, but let's focus on what everybody's excited about, which is Darian Porter, a Richard Sherman lookalike, a guy who played wide receiver for 4 years. Quick thoughts on him, Twan, starting with you.
What I saw on tape, just one thing that really stuck out to me was on tape, he was very comfortable when the ball was in the air. And that's where a lot of people get flags and stuff in regards to being a cornerback. So it seems like he's very comfortable, guarding, and he's going to learn, because he's not completely versed at being a corner. He still has to learn and grow there. But when the ball is in the air, he's very comfortable. And I think that'll help us with not getting too many pass interferences.
Great. Chris?
Yeah, well, like that, Darren Porter, yeah, with Pete Carroll being the DB coach back in his history, he's going to teach him, because he's only been a DB for 3 years. He was a wide receiver first, so he knows the route trees of receivers, so he can stick with them. But like I said, he got to learn a few things. I think he probably be a rotational guy for now, bring him on special occasions. But like I said, Pete Carroll's DB coach, so he's going to coach him up. So I think when he picked him, I was happy. He's big, strong, and he's fast. So I think.
And Jeff,
DB back good, yes. Offensive line even better. I wanted to talk about them, but we don't have time now.
Well, we can do it on your show. And again, I in fact, we did a lot, but we can even break down the info even more if you want to do it on your show on 401 Raider Jeff on the YouTube channel, or at Chris4 Raiders on the YouTube channel. Twan's got a channel, everybody. So go to Raider Twan at the YouTube channel. And, just last thing for me before I say my goodbyes. So I want to thank you. All of you guys are always awesome. I appreciate all your knowledge. Every single person here has such a good insight, and we have a lot of fun. You and me, Chris, we have a good time, right?
Angelo, without you, the show was boring, man. I had to fight with somebody. He's the only person. I'll fight with Jeff because he always, he drink his coffee and don't say anything. So
yes, sir. And of course, we want to thank Captain Jack, who's in Green Bay. Thank you for letting us continue to share our thoughts on your channel.
I talk too much.
Captain Jack Rackham channel is always on the Roku channel, Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. There might be a show on Tuesday. Jeff might open up after this show, but we just want to say good night. Thank you to the chat. Thank you, everyone. Go Raider Nation.
Everybody.
Let's do it.